Hello everybody, welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube and Twitch channels. I hope you're all having a wonderful morning. Excuse me. And I hope you're all ready for a wonderful coffee stream. Got a bunch of crazy shit to watch. And just all in all, just a bunch of insanity. And, of course, that includes question period. But we're going to save that till the very end. Because oh dear.
Which song is going to win
I
is the question.
stupidly didn't have Twitch pulled up beforehand.
Which song is going to win?
Because I suck. Okay, here we go. Why are my cats getting into some nonsense? Anyway, we are here. I am very tired, very sore. I just walked 5 kilometers this morning, so I'm a little bit worn out, and my leg really hurts now that my bone, the bruise on my bone, is feeling better. The soft tissue around it is like, ow. So yeah. It hurts. And I did a lot of walking this morning, so I am very, very tired and very sore. So please bear with me. But we're like I said, we're gonna have a good time, I think. And yeah, it's gonna be a fun show. The Canadian Cancer Society is apparently kowtowing to the LGBT community because apparently they apologized for using the word cervix in reference to, cervical cancer. And they understand that using front hole is sometimes more preferable to the community, and they also understand that men can have a cervix too. So the Canadian Cancer Society has completely lost its goddamn mind because men cannot have a fucking cervix. That's like saying a female can have a prostate. It just doesn't work. It's not. I'm sorry, it doesn't happen. That's not possible. So for people to say stupid shit like that, because you can't tell me there aren't doctors working for the fucking Canadian Cancer Society. What doctor signed off on this? Like, this had to have just been a PR thing. Because no doctor is going to actually say that a man can have a cervix. I'm sorry. It's just, if they do, they should not have a license to practice medicine. Because you cannot. I didn't turn the light on. Ow! I didn't turn the light on. Of course not. Why the fuck would I do that? And they said, oopsie, but too bad, huh? But still, it's kind of silly. Where was I here? So, that's that. I think it's still silly, but it's less, I don't know. Let's see. No, we're not starting with question period. We're going to start on the other side. So, there's apparently, we're going to start Manic Monday with a bang, literally, because in this video, apparently, SWAT and the suspect that they were there for managed to exchange and fire 400 rounds in this shootout, which is kind of crazy to me. I can't really fathom that many rounds being exchanged, but hey, that's just me. And I do not fully understand the whole gun play thing, so I'm not gonna pretend to. So let's take a look at this.
Shots fired! Shots fired! I got no eyes on. He went to the west. Get out of here! Get out of here!
Hi everyone, Donut here.
Oh, good. Donut's gonna explain it all. Good, good. I like when Donut Operator explains things, because he's very descriptive.
Oh my god, that was like 20 days of no video, but look, I'm back. In this incident, we're going to talk about a shooting where over 400 rounds were fired. But first, our sponsor for this video is PDS Debt. The economy is in shambles. Inflation is on the rise, and that means a lot of you might be in debt a little bit. That's where PDS Debt comes in. PDS Debt has customized options for anyone struggling with credit cards, personal loans, collections, or medical bills. They provide options that consolidate your debt into one low monthly payment. They are a top-rated company on Google and have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. They are now offering a free debt analysis. It only takes 30 seconds, and all you have to do is go to pdsdebt.com/donut. Anyone with $10,000 or more in eligible debt qualifies. There is no minimum credit score required. So if you're making payments and your debt just isn't going down, I would consider PDS Debt to help you out today. That's pdsdebt.com/donut to get your free debt analysis. This brings us to one of the drunkest cities in our great nation, Green Bay, Wisconsin.
One of the drunkest cities in our great nation. I wouldn't know. But if he knows, well.
February 24th, 2024, 12:56 p.m. He says someone pulled a gun on him and then jumped in a car and sped off. This caller is different than most and might not be the brightest because he follows the person who just put a gun to him.
Wait, what? Why would you do that? Why would you follow the guy that just pointed a fucking gun at you if he's leaving you? Like, if he got in a car and drove away, why would you? Okay.
Crazy son of a bitch. While he's following the gunman, he's on the phone with 911. He's chasing the gunman until the police can come chase the gunman. But then this happens.
Looks like we're going to be heading north on Greenwich.
Okay. So this is police body cam. Lots of shots fired. Look at all the ducks go. Holy shit, more ducks.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Very much so, shots fired, shots fired. My god. Look at all those ducks go.
Suspect hit! I got shots fired!
Are we sure the
Yes,
suspect
we need
is
some
hit?
people over here now!
What you didn't see there is that the suspect pulled over, got out of his car, and aimed his gun at the officer, which is always a very smart thing to do.
Oh yeah, just brilliant. Let me just pull over, get out, and aim my weapon at you, officers. This is good.
What the suspect didn't know, though, is that this officer had obviously been waiting his entire life for this moment. Let's take a look at how quick this was.
God. Wow.
This moment. Let's take a look at how quick this was.
So he's. That was so fast. That was like the whole. That sounded like the whole clip.
And now the drive-by.
Through the windshield too? Holy fuck.
And now the drive-by.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
So after that part, the suspect and the officer put some distance between themselves, and the officer grabs the artillery and calls for backup.
So the suspect shot at the cop, and then the cop shot back, and the suspect is not, I guess, not fatally hit yet. Okay, now we've got some toys. Wow, okay, how many shots was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that the suspect that's shooting at that moment? He's still sitting in the driver's seat and then he aimed out the windshield. Oh! So that was the cop that did. So the suspect got out of the car. The cop shot at him through the windshield of his car. So I'm trying to figure out if that's the suspect shooting more, or if that's the cop. Switch to
Man black or native, wearing a cream-colored sweater. He went in towards the house area. Send me everybody you got.
Send me everybody you've got. Yeah, he's amped up too. He is the long-range handgun. Oh, okay. That's what he's and he is out of breath. Like, you can tell his adrenaline is going.
He's still armed. I got no eyes on. He went to the west. Get out of here! Get out of here!
The officer then returned fire towards the direction of the threat and moved towards it. Dud. He might
you can tell he is amped.
be out of breath now, but we got to give credit where it's due. This officer got fired at 3 separate times by the suspect, returned fire, and controlled the scene, all by himself.
Yeah! No shit. Like, I'd be out of breath too. You know what I mean? Like, your adrenaline is up. You've got a suspect who's still armed, and you've got people that are coming to see what all the hubbub is about. You've got nobody backing you up right now. Like, yeah, I would be slightly out of breath myself.
Show some damned respect.
There's not much more to this video because directly after this, the suspect ran into a random person's house and did a boom boom to his head. Can you imagine you're sitting there on the couch watching football and a random dude runs into your living room and just into a random fired at 3 separate times by the suspect, returned fire, and controlled the scene, all by himself.
Show some damned respect.
There's not much more to this video because directly after this, the suspect ran into a random person's house and did a boom boom to his head.
Christ. What the fuck is happening in this world? What is with these people?
Can you imagine you're sitting there on the couch watching football and a random dude runs into your living room and just
Shoots you in the fucking head?
The officer, of course, is on paid administrative vacation. Now for our main video. The officer, of course, is on paid administrative vacation. Now for our main video. Get your vests and flashlights out, because there's rounds going to be flying everywhere. 400 of them. This is a literal war zone. March 10th, 2024.
It was a firefight! I'm sorry. This is a serious thing. This is fucked up. But still.
Tucson, Arizona, 9:45 a.m. Officers from the Tucson Police Department went to arrest the guy. This guy. He had a couple warrants out for his arrest. He was wanted for felony domestic violence and aggravated assault. He does not sound like a nice person.
Sounds like this guy was a real
jerk.
Officers arrived at his residence and then tried to negotiate a surrender with him for 5 hours.
So this is the same dude? He did this in Wisconsin, I guess, and then is this what I'm understanding? In February he was in Green Bay and did this, and now he's in Tucson and they're trying to arrest him for it?
This dumb obviously refused to come out, which is why I'm making a video about it. And what you're about to see is SWAT attempting to enter his residence with their armored vehicle.
Oh, are we gonna smash the door down?
Nice weeks.
Super cereal. Yes, it's super cereal. No Boondock Saints jokes.
Get back. Shots fired from deep inside the house. Hey, tuck in, boys. Definitely sounded like a rifle.
With the officers taking rifle fire from inside the house, they decide to do a little pew-pew in the suspect's direction so that they can reposition.
Stand by. Cheyenne team to CP. I'm gonna give directed fire.
Hang on.
Cheyenne team
We're gonna get directed fire so you guys can get up over that wall. Wait, stand by. Where are you guys gonna go to? We're gonna give directed fire for you to move. You're gonna go up and over?
You guys too, I want you to move. This Cheyenne team. I'll be last man.
This is very interesting to actually listen to a real SWAT commanding. Oh, okay. This is the second story, different person. Okay. Got it.
Go to the back of the bat and get in the bat.
I'm also gonna throw a bag.
Copy.
This is kind of cool.
Also copy. Cheyenne team's gonna go to the bat.
Because all I've ever seen is like TV SWAT deployment. So it's really interesting to watch this.
Tahoe team or Avalanche team to the bat as well. Initiate, initiate, initiate.
Those are some big booms. So that's the cops basically suppressing fire, trying to keep the suspect from shooting while some other people try to get over. Okay. That's him.
The thing about any plan like this, though, is that the enemy gets a say in that plan as well.
Oh shit! What is he doing? Just holding the trigger down?
Fire Kush, I think he's.
That sounds like an automatic. Is that an automatic? There's no way you, well, I don't know how to shoot.
The thing about any plan like this, though, is that the enemy gets a say in that plan as well.
If you could physically pull a trigger that fast, but that sounds like
Fire Kush, I think he's.
somebody get it.
It's time. Hold up.
Oh, here he comes again. Holy shit.
We're up. We're up. We're in. We're in.
This is insane. This is holy shit. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this.
After this exchange, even more time went by. Negotiators during that time were trying to still get this dumb to come out of the house, but it always ended in shots from the suspect.
Nope, he's shooting out the 2-door.
Give me directed fire just above the front door or window. Hold.
Okay.
So directed fire, I'm guessing, means like concentrated on one spot. That's just what I'm taking from the context of the video.
Redahoff to bat. We're going to give you directed
I could
fire
be
from the
wrong.
Suburban on the
probably
east side of the
am.
house as you're moving.
Having a win.
Initiate.
Ready.
Or maybe to direct his fire to that spot. I like the chicken noise he uses for the suspect's gun. That makes me laugh.
Directed fire.
Clutch per second.
Hold.
Holding.
Bats out. Directed fire. Suburban. Cease.
Send in.
So I'm guessing they're that's what I'm taking from this to mean they are literally trying to direct his fire. Okay.
That wasn't me.
Jesus. This is a literal firefight. What the fuck? Oh, doggy!
Good, Brad.
Yep.
And you can hear just how exhausted these guys are. At this point in the video, officers have been there and exchanging fire for 7 to 8 hours.
That is correct about concentrated fire, because then there's cover fire. Okay. Hey, I got one right.
But the suspect is pretty goddamn determined. He even sprayed down the little robot that officers sent in to communicate with him.
Jesus Christ, he shot the robot? Okay then. Bye, robot.
What did those robots ever do to you?
Climb the tower.
That's just too funny.
This situation is just dragging on now. He's becoming an even bigger danger to police and the public.
Somebody just... Where's a sniper? Where's a sniper? Somebody sniper.
What decided to send in the Rook? We've talked about the Rook before. It's like an armored bearcat.
Ring Power Tactical Solutions presents the Rook.
The Rook. I kind of like that name. It reminds me of the cat. It reminds me of the piece in chess. The Rook. In chess. It's probably what it's named after. Because it could probably go anywhere like the Rook. Because the Rook can pretty much go anywhere. I fucking hate that thing. I love it when I'm using it, but I hate it when it's being used against me.
The Rook Hulk smashed through a wall of the home, revealing the man who exploited the infinite ammo glitch. What they saw was a suspect with a weapon to his head, surrounded by other firearms, and you probably guessed it, he saved one round for himself before officers could apprehend him. Good news is, even with over 400 rounds being fired, he was the only person to get shot, and nothing of value was lost. It wasn't for lack of trying, though. Here's what the vehicles looked like that the officers were actually using for cover. I mean, look at the mags the dude was running, too. That's all we have for today. Thank you for spending time with me.
I wonder. Because Donut didn't say. The suspect committed megacide. Yep. He sure did.
And I will be back making a couple videos a week. Dad just had to get away and relax for a while. If you want to help support the channel, you can go on over to donutoperator.com. Over there, you can get some super sweet merch, or follow me on any other social media platform. Check out the Unsubscribed podcast and my vlog channel, Operation Donut. Until next time, have a fantastic day.
Good old Donut Operator. Oh my goodness. What a crazy video. Like, but good for, at least the suspect was the only one that got shot and ended. Good. That's always a happy ending. Always a happy ending when that happens. You never want the good guys to get hurt. And then there's gonna be somebody who comes in there. What do you mean the cops are the good guys? Well, sorry. I'd rather have the cops than those guys with that suspect, dude. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, we're gonna learn about a blind bishop. And I don't know if I know about this person. I may have read about this person, but I don't know. I know about the blind sheik, who was responsible for the first World Trade Center bombing in the 90s. I know about him, but I don't know if I know about this blind bishop. Well, maybe it's the same person. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Sheik and bishop are not the same person, or same thing though. So we'll see.
If you were to Google someone's name and they've got a Wikipedia page, that means they've done something worthy of taking note. If that person is a pastor of a church and the Wikipedia page has a scroll bar, the things they've done were either really good or really bad.
Yeah, you never really want to have a Wikipedia page done about you, even if, like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I would want myself to have a Wikipedia page.
So let's talk about Lamar Whitehead, a guy who drives expensive cars, lives in mansions, gets robbed for close to $500,000 in jewelry, goes to prison repeatedly, and never learns his lesson. A man who the media have dubbed the Bling Bishop.
Oh, the Bling Bishop, not the Blind Bishop. What the fuck? The Bling Bishop. Why did I say Blind Bishop? I'm stupid. So the Bling Bishop is, never heard of this guy.
Brooklyn Church. Now, the so-called Bling Bishop.
Brooklyn Bishop was robbed at gunpoint.
Oh my god, he was robbed?
Bling Bishop, a preacher from Brooklyn, who will soon be swapping in his designer suits for prison guard.
Oh, what'd he do? Did he fraud people? He
Lamar
frauded
Whitehead
people.
started out his academic life studying
for prison guard.
Lamar Whitehead started out his academic life studying accounting and videography.
Accounting and videography, Where does that bring you to pastorhood?
At Eastern New Mexico University before returning to New York, which is where he found his true calling and attended New York Theological Seminary.
Ah, there you go.
He completed the studies there with a Ministry in Human Services certificate and went on to become a licensed New York State chaplain as well as marriage and funeral officiant.
Okay. So he went to school. He actually is a educated theologian. He went to a seminary school. He became an officiant for marriages and funerals. He's the real deal. He's actually a religious figure. Like, he is a real deal kind of guy.
So
where did he go? Where did he go wrong for the bling?
He's quite an
Why
accomplished
did I say
guy.
blind?
Now, let's say you're at the grocery store and you see a Rolls Royce pull up.
It sounds
Out
like he was
steps a
going to be
gentleman
making porn.
in a fine suit wearing a gold Rolex, multiple up. Out steps a gentleman in a fine suit wearing a gold Rolex, multiple large rings, and a huge chain.
But why? And where did he get all this from?
You think to yourself, wow, is that guy famous? You might even ask somebody, what does that guy do for a living? Probably the last answer you expect is that he's a pastor, not a job that we associate with massive sums of wealth.
But it really should be, if you think about it, because how many times do we hear about preachers and pastors being worth like large amounts of money? Like, we don't necessarily I think we associate priests and the vow of poverty and celibacy that they have to take. And I think societally we kind of associate that with like every type of religious leader or religious leader, presider over a congregation, I guess, because really, like, it does feel like that we kind of transfer the idea of priestly humbleness and poverty onto every type of at least Christian sect of leadership. And it's really funny because it's not even, if you go up within the Catholic Church, like, the vow of poverty tends to kind of go away. Like, the Pope ain't poor. That's for fucking sure and certain. None of the cardinals that are living in the Vatican are poor. Like, fuck, no, I'm sorry, you can't tell me any of that shit. So, I mean, even that is a lie. So here we go.
Unless there's something weird going on. But let's not forget, this wouldn't be the first or the last time we'd seen someone who is supposed to be a moral authority enriching themselves at the expense of those they were supposed to be helping.
Facts. Didn't we just cover like a whole bunch of bad preachers from Papa Meat?
Sometimes people just donate, right? There doesn't have to be anything criminal about what's going on. So let's take a look at this one and go back to 2004. According to Suffolk County Police, they were getting an alarming number of complaints from residents who were in the process of having their identity stolen.
Oh, good! Multiple identity thefts. Awesome! Lovely!
9 people in total filed reports stating that someone was using their identity to purchase new Range Rover cars.
What the fuck? 9 different people reported that their ID was used to buy Range Rovers. No, that is oddly specific. Why a Range Rover, and why do you need 9 of them, sir?
So let's be clear, this isn't just a few $1,000s, and as the police started to dig, it wasn't just those 9 victims either. There were dozens of them across multiple states. So whoever was responsible was clearly aiming for the moon with the identity fraud, because in total, it came out to around $2 million in false loans.
God damn. That is, and from multiple different states too. That's 9 in Suffolk County, but then like, we've got all the people from the different states. We've got, like, this is insane.
That doesn't sound like it's a small timer or that this was someone's first ever scam.
No.
So the police quickly arrested a man by the name of Copeland, who was using stolen identities at the time. Copeland, however, wasn't responsible for the Range Rover loans, but he did share an address with another man by the name of Lamar Whitehead.
Interesting. So they shared the same, they lived together.
As the police started to peel back the layers, their eyes started to water, and they'd found their man. For the next 6 months, they investigated him. Meanwhile, he was still making it clear he was that guy.
Yeah, it's me. Look at all my shit that I have gotten with all my stolen identities. Look it.
He took a $200,000 personal loan from 2 private individuals, who then filed a lawsuit against him when he refused to pay it back. A lawsuit they went on to win, with the court ordering Lamar to pay back $306,000, which as of 2022, he still owes $261,000 for.
That's a big number, and so he basically borrowed this money from people and was like, "No, I'm not paying you back. Sorry."
But during that 2004 investigation, the police finally had enough to take him down for what they called an extensive fraud and identity theft operation.
You think? Fucking 9 Range Rover loans, like all this shit, that is extensive to say the least.
When the arrest happened, ironically, it was while Lamar was driving a Range Rover, probably one of the ones that was purchased using a stolen identity as part of that $2 million fraud from over 50 victims across 3 different states. While searching his close to $500,000 house, police found a stolen 9mm pistol and a bulletproof vest. At the time, Lamar states, while searching his close to $500,000 house, police found a stolen 9mm pistol and a bulletproof vest. At the time, Lamar claimed to be in the music business, but quickly found out that he was in the going to prison business instead.
I'm in the music business. That's why I need the stolen gun and the bulletproof vest.
And business was booming. 10 charges for identity theft later, and a 5-year sentence in Sing Sing Correctional Facility coming out in 2008, left Lamar in prison to be released in 2013. From here on, stories about Lamar leave the articles and Wikipedia pages, and instead we take a look at his social media accounts.
Oh god! Oh god, he's actually got social media. That's too funny.
By late 2013, fresh out of prison, Lamar looked to have turned his life around. He was tweeting about events to support the youth of Brooklyn, a project he was directly involved in and the keynote speaker for. Images for the next few months show Lamar looking dapper, dressing well in suits, but nothing too crazy. He was very active in his community, apparently trying to lead the youth and be an example for the future.
Oh, why do I feel like this is just another cover-up for another scam that he figured out while he was in prison?
This could be a truly inspirational story, somebody who did wrong and came out the other side doing right. But obviously by late 2015, things had started to change, because Lamar's appearance was more and more ostentatious. A diamond-encrusted cross is an example.
Jesus Christ! That's not necessary! A diamond-encrusted cross. That is definitely not necessary. Jesus Christ. That right there, that is something that the fucking Pope would use to pray with. That is not a diamond-encrusted cross. Holy moly.
A display of great wealth while posting pictures during a turkey drive, something that obviously looks very weird. Yes, you're giving turkeys to people, but you're doing so looking as blinged out as you can.
Yeah, that doesn't, like, it has a bit of a worse feeling when you're getting like a food hamper delivered to you by some person that looks like they're worth like $8 billion. It makes you feel very low and small and like nothing, rather than like, say, just your plain Joe Schmo neighbor down the road is like, hey, the neighborhood is doing a turkey drive for the less fortunate in our neighborhood. Here's a turkey. Like, that would feel a lot less like a slap in the face than some like tripped out, like flashy, like, all, like that would, ugh.
It seems like the messaging is at odds with the actions.
Yes!
Though, at this time, there's no evidence of wrongdoing, just a guy who apparently enjoyed diamonds and expensive jewelry while being a somehow incredibly rich pastor.
Well, you can be incredibly rich when you're stealing people's money and identity.
That doesn't pay that much money. For me, as a cynical person, I definitely question how or why my pastor was affording such luxuries, especially as time and social media posts progress, from an expensive looking chain to expensive watches to expensive cars, and almost daily wardrobe changes of luxury brands.
Yeah, like, why do we need to be doing the rich guy stuff on social media if you're like a preacher?
And even massive real estate investments.
That God is real. Listen, real estate is the way to go. I'm going to be teaching classes. Follow me. I am Bishop Lamar Miller Whitehead, but I need y'all to understand all of this. More than half a block. Just purchase that, man. Let's get it, y'all. God.
I just purchased that because God is real and real estate's the way to go.
That's good. 2022, the year to surreal.
So after this, his Twitter mostly goes dark until early 2021. But he was also active on Instagram, posting similar videos to that, as well as promoting what he was actively doing, which seemed to be helping people, offering advice, and posing with celebrities. Everything seemed to be going great for him up until July 2022, when during a service that was live streamed and impossible to show you due to YouTube's content policy, Lamar and his wife
what did they do?
Were robbed by armed men.
Oh, that's
July
what
2022,
happened.
when during a service that was live streamed and impossible to show you due to YouTube's content policy, Lamar and his wife were robbed by armed men.
Yeah, so because of the violence, they can't.
These men snatched his jewelry, which he claimed was
they can't show it because of the violence.
A $75,000 Rolex and a $399,000 Cuban link chain, which he was wearing while giving a sermon at his church. But luckily,
was it about poverty and being humble? Because that would have been hilarious. If the service was about like, if the service was about like humbleness and you know, forgiveness and charity and whatever, and he's tricked out in this, like, oh my god, I can't take people seriously like this.
2 of the suspects were arrested in connection to the robbery. Unluckily, one of them was killed during a confrontation with US Marshals in 2024. Still, seems pretty weird to be wearing basically $500,000 worth of jewelry while giving a sermon at a church. But what followed was quite interesting.
Make sense to me.
As a result of that robbery, Lamar apparently sued a local radio host for $50 million in damages relating to what he called defamation. The lawsuit states that the host said he was a drug dealer, he is using the church to deal drugs as well as hide dirty money, and these statements made him lose business, church members, and therefore income.
Is it true though? Like, is it true? 'Cause I saw that video, it kind of looked staged. Oh, really?
This seemed to be a running theme as it went on, because it wasn't the first or last time he sued anybody. According to the Rolling Stones article here, he filed 2 more lawsuits for $20 million each against 2 YouTubers who he also claimed was slandering him by saying he's a con artist.
I'm sorry, but you kind of are. You were sent to jail for being one. Like, what are you...
Some of the claims made were that he wasn't actually robbed, he still had the jewelry, that he was a drug dealer, and that he's involved with Blood and Crip street gangs. Now obviously I don't know anything about any of these claims. I only know things about claims that were made by the US federal government in 2004 when he was arrested for stealing people's identity and using those identities to take out fraudulent loans. Federal crimes that objectively happened.
Oh, I'm still on solo cam, damn it.
Rolls-Royce impacted his credit score when he was late on a payment, which he also sued them for. So it seems like one of the things he enjoyed doing was suing people. But according to the US federal government, there was something he enjoyed doing a little bit more, and that was committing crimes.
Yeah, like stealing people's identity.
You see, the indictment was made public on December 19th, 2022, and it opens with a pretty damning accusation which stated Lamar promised financial returns on investments from his victims, but, quote, did defraud the victims by taking their money and other property with no intention of investing it, returning it, or enriching the victims. Examples given.
Oh, use one of those guys. Here, I'll take your money and I'll invest it for you. Trust me, bro.
Start from April 2020, where the Southern District of New York claim he took $90,000 from an individual who attended his Brooklyn church.
Oh, how lovely. 90 grand from a congregant.
The money was explicitly to be used for obtaining a home for the woman and her son, first and foremost. But after the money was wired from her retirement savings account, Lamar spent it on, quote, luxury goods and clothing for his own purposes. According to the filing, the woman asked him to return the money, at which point he refused. He then...
Of course he refused. And I bet you he did it nastily too.
And further attempted to solicit $500,000 from a businessman for a stake in a real estate transaction, claiming he would receive, quote, favorable actions by the New York City government that would enrich them both. This, according to US prosecutors...
He basically just he said the city it'll be good for us both. The city will like the holy shit.
Was patently false. The document continues to state that the same businessman he tried to take for $500,000 was then threatened with force if he didn't hand over $5,000 in cash.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Now that I couldn't get the 500 grand from you, but I can at least get 5 grand from you.
The indictment continues that he lied to federal agents when they executed a search on his home, stating he only had the one phone, knowing full well there was another phone in the house that he was actively using, which I'm sure had evidence they used against him in the federal case, which included 2 counts of wire fraud, 1 count of extortion, and 1 count of making material false statements. Not only that, but during the trial it was discovered that Lamar also used fake bank records to try and obtain fraudulent loans. Basically, he was performing a whole bunch of financial crimes.
The same bullshit he was doing before when he got arrested and sent to prison for 5 years.
Taking money from people that trusted him, churchgoers, and also local businesses and banks. It didn't seem to matter to him that these people were looking to him for guidance in what they thought was a man worthy of trust. A man who they gave a second chance when he posted to Instagram claiming to have been falsely imprisoned all those years ago.
Falsely imprisoned? Holy shit. Really? I was falsely imprisoned. Yes,
for the previous case of defrauding people. He was in a position of societal power, an institution of power. He used that over the people as an appointed representative of the church and enriched himself at their expense. What he did with that money wasn't to help people. It was to buy real estate, buy cars, buy jewelry, meet celebrities, and post about it on Instagram, flexing his wealth on his followers.
Cause God is good. Cause God is good, and this is how God wants me to behave.
Wealth that some of came from ill-gotten gains. So after the trial, Lamar Whitehead, also known as the Bling Bishop, was found guilty by a unanimous jury on all 4 counts. His sentencing is due in July of 2024, where each charge carries a maximum 20-year sentence, except the one about making false statements, which carries 5. Unfortunately for Lamar, the troubles don't end there, as he's also been accused of flashing confidential case documents and making, quote, veiled threats against one of his accusers by reciting Bible verses.
Oh,
so
lovely.
it remains to be seen just how long the Bling Bishop will go to prison.
Don't you love the people that use the Bible to threaten people? Isn't that amazing? Isn't that just fantastic when people claim to be, you know, Christian or whatever, and they use their religious text to send you a veiled threat? That's just lovely, isn't it? What a fantastic man. Right, I am going to do our be right back break. Going to get myself more coffee. Quickly do a bathroom break too. So if you guys need a refill on your drinks, do it now. I will be right back. I'm just going to turn up the music a little bit for our break and see you in a couple minutes. Okay. Let's move along to our next video. Oh, by the way, from... I have decided Champions of the Realms is back, so I signed up for that. And there's another tournament called Run the Inferno that I'm also going to start trying to qualify for. There are 16 of those qualifiers. So, yeah. And of course, there's a chance to win money for all of those things. So, there we go. Let's learn about 1950s game shows. Let's take a look about that.
After World War II, television started to invade households around the world, bringing with it the television game show, which had evolved from radio game shows.
Yeah, there's After the Shadow, there was a game show called Quick as a Flash, and it was like a detective type of game show on the radio.
We're all familiar with TV game shows of today, but back then they were still in an experimental phase and hadn't quite nailed down all the elements that are ubiquitous today. For example, today almost all game shows realize a big part of the appeal is that you can play along at home. Spinning a big wheel is a nice bit of visual flair, but you're most immersed when you're shouting answers at the TV or telling a contestant not to risk their winnings with a big gamble.
£88,000.
It's so true. Where you're like yelling the answer at the TV.
Deal or no deal?
No deal.
I hope this is the dream.
For quiz shows, this means lots of questions that the average person can answer, but back in the 50s, a lot of these shows featured questions that required an encyclopedic well of knowledge to be able to answer.
And Monty Python did a really, really funny game show. They had history. They had a bunch of, I can't remember exactly what the game show was, but it was like these answers, like stupid answers that were so weird, like so convoluted. It was funny.
Pizarro, P-I-Z-A-R-R-O, was an early Spanish explorer who discovered and conquered Pizarro, P-I-Z-A-R-R.
Encyclopedic well of knowledge to be able to answer.
Pizarro, P-I-Z-A-R-R-O, was an early Spanish explorer who discovered and conquered an advanced civilization. Tell us the civilization he discovered, the country this civilization was in, and the leader of the civilization at the time of the conquest.
Montezuma, the Inca, or no, the Aztec in Mexico.
Would you like time to think it over?
As much as you can spare.
I mean, at that point you're just watching, you're not participating. And look how long you'd have to sit there while this guy thinks it over. Compare this to how immediate and gratifying TV shows are today.
Yep.
Tell me a word a married man would use to fill in the blank. I would blank for sex. James.
Die.
Hey.
Oh!
I'm gonna kick it up a notch and say, kill.
I would kill for sex? What the Yes! God damn, dude! Does your wife not give it up to you? Holy shit! 17 years in, it's like 2-3 times a day.
This was actually a problem back in the day. The game show 21 premiered on NBC in September 1956 with a broadcast that the co-producer described as a dismal failure. The show was dull and the contestants were dim, repeatedly failing to produce the correct answers in the long, drawn-out wait between questions. The ratings were terrible and show sponsor Geritol was furious, demanding that
Geritol! Geritol.
There would not be a repeat of this poor performance. This was another problem with game shows back in the day, the sponsors. The amount of advertising on these things was ridiculous. Not only would hosts interrupt the game to sell you some crap every 10 minutes, but the sponsors' names were literally all over the show. Look at this. The way this contestant is framed might lead you to believe her name is Colgate.
contestant, Miss Colgate.
But no, that's the sponsor.
We'll start our first match in just a moment. Right now, a word to you folks. You know who was the first to put toothpaste in a tube? Colgate. That's right.
The first to put toothpaste in a tube. What did you have it in before? A jar? What'd you do? Just scoop it out with your finger?
And now, who is first with an aerosol toothpaste? Colgate.
Aerosol toothpaste. Now there's an idea with all the hallmarks of long-term commercial success.
That's yummy. That just, why am I picturing minty shaving cream just into your mouth? Gross.
The reason the sponsors were all over these shows is because they often paid for the price of production, as well as the fee for network airtime. In a way, they basically owned the show. So when Geritol told the producers of 21 to up their game, they had to listen. So, how would they make the game show more enticing to viewers? Well, they could basically do it any way they liked. The industry was a bit of a wild west, where regulation was scant and lawlessness abounded.
So, were they more like Japanese game shows?
Well, it wasn't totally lawless. In 1954, the Supreme Court had ruled that it was legal for a show to do giveaways, even if it required some element of chance or skill, as long as the contestant wasn't putting up their own money, which would be gambling. So basically, it was legal for game shows to exist, but beyond that, there was little to no regulation over how these game shows were conducted.
So like I said, were they more like Japanese game shows?
This led producers to come up with a genius idea. Just rig the show. 21 found Herb Stempel, a genuinely intelligent man who was reported to have a photographic memory. The producers thought they could paint him as a sort of a nerd that would be seen as a know-it-all by the average Joe, who would hope his opponent would best him.
And Herb, you got your $69,500 riding here at stake. How do you feel, okay?
That's fine, thank you.
Good enough.
They told him how to have his hair cut, how to dress, how to talk to the game's host, Jack Barry, and even how to act while answering a question. He was given instruction on little gestures he could do to add drama to the show.
Oh my god, so he was coached on literally everything. Here's how to be extra annoying.
Like dabbing the sweat off his forehead during a tough question. And he was told the answers. Stempel then of course went on a winning streak, defeating contestant after contestant, all orchestrated by the show's producers. Geritol then once again stepped in. They weren't really a fan of how this guy was becoming the face of the show. He was just some egghead. People don't want to see that on TV, they want to see stars. This is show business. It's supposed to be fabulous. And
yeah, you don't want to see the same guy over and over again. Like, that's boring.
Nerd is not fabulous. It was time to give the audience the David to Stempel's Goliath. So then the show found Charles Van Doren, a college professor from an intellectual family. Both his father and uncle were Pulitzer Prize winners. Van Doren was exactly what 21 was looking for. He was a handsome fella and charismatic too. A big hit with the ladies in the audience, and his soft-spoken and intellectual nature made him non-threatening to the men. Everyone liked this guy.
Non-threatening to the men. Yes, that's what we want. That's, oh my god, right from the beginning of television, it's all been rigged.
He was a star fit for TV. That meant the show's previous golden goose, Herb Stempel, was about to become the sacrificial lamb. In a contest between the two, Stempel was instructed to take the fall. He answered incorrectly to a question he genuinely knew the answer to.
Oh. What motion picture won the Academy Award for 1955?
That would piss me off.
On the waterfront?
No, I'm sorry, the answer is Marty. Marty's.
Marty was one of his favorite films. He'd seen it 3 times. He knew full well it was the correct answer. With his loss to Van Doren, Stempel was off the show.
That would make me so angry. If I knew. I think there's a thing called canned toothpaste. Yeah, I think that's what the aerosol toothpaste is.
Van Doren was a big hit and became somewhat famous. He even appeared on the cover of Time magazine. After his time on the show, NBC offered him a 3-year contract for $50,000 a year. He would appear as a correspondent and sometimes as a host for Today. In contrast, poor old Herb Stempel got nothing. Well, apart from about $50,000 that he had earned through his winnings.
Which, I mean, back in that time, that was a fair amount of money.
Yes, even though the game was rigged, they still paid the winnings honestly. Although at that point they're less winnings and more payment for services rendered, really.
Yeah.
But according to Stempel, he took the fall for Van Doren on the promise of a similar well-paid job with the network that Van Doren had received.
Which he never got, I'm guessing.
When this did not come to fruition, he went to a journalist with the revelation that 21 was fixed. However, with no proof and the potential for legal threats from NBC, the story was never printed. This wasn't the only instance of this happening. Another popular game show in the 50s, The Big Surprise, had a contestant file a lawsuit against the show's production company seeking either $103,000 in damages or reinstatement on the show.
Why would you want to be reinstated on a show that you're suing?
As a contestant, I didn't think judges had that kind of power.
No,
well, now I want to give a warm welcome to our next contestant who joins us under legal obligation. She claimed that the show had warm-up sessions off-air, during which she was asked a question that she didn't know the answer to. This question was put to her again during the televised show, leading her to believe the producers were using the warm-up sessions to assess contestants' knowledge, so that they could essentially decide who would win and who would lose, because they knew what the contestants knew, and more importantly, what they didn't know.
That's interesting. I don't know if you can sue for that, though. Oh, it's a dry powder or tablet. Oh, interesting. Okay.
This led to the show's sponsor, Revlon, to ask the producers if this was true. They denied it, but no one could deny that. They denied it, but no one could deny that.
The hell?
The ATC. Another instance in 1958 was discovered when a standby.
Video?
Another instance in 1958 was discovered when a standby contestant on the game show Dotto sent an affidavit to the FCC that claimed the show was rigged. One of the winning contestants on this show was Mary Wynn. Her name was Wynn. You couldn't make this shit up. Anyways, this fella alleged he found a notebook backstage with all the answers Wynn would later deliver.
Oh, that's interesting.
More and more accusations becoming public, a grand jury was convened in Manhattan that heard over 150 witnesses. But its conclusion was never made public. The United States Congress stepped in and asked many game show contestants to testify about the legitimacy of these game shows in 1959.
Wow. There was actually a testimony in Congress about this. This is insane.
One of these contestants was Charles Van Doren, who had previously denied the allegations to the grand jury in Manhattan. Now, this counts as lying under oath, but you kinda can't blame the guy. It wasn't really his secret to divulge, and a lot of people's jobs were potentially at stake. He was probably under a lot of pressure and didn't want to just throw these people under the bus.
Probably.
Or maybe he was just protecting his own image. But now that he was in front of a congressional subcommittee, he admitted that the show was indeed rigged in his favor, claiming he had wanted to compete honestly, but the show's producers convinced him that the fix was just a part of show business, as they wanted him to be the new face of the show, but knew that Herb Stempel was too smart to risk a genuine contest.
Ouch. That's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt. The Van Doren guy, like, you know, he's too smart for you to actually go against him in a real contest, so we're gonna fix it for you.
Of course, this was just his words, and many other people had said the game shows were legitimate. Congress needed indisputable evidence. And they got it. A contestant on 21, James Snodgrass, had written down the answers he was coached on during his time on the show. Not only that, he had then mailed these notes to himself in registered letters, so the dates they were sent were verifiable. Thus, he had proof he knew the answers before the show was even filmed.
Wow, that is fascinating. I wonder what prompted him to do that.
The next year, in 1960, Congress amended the Communications Act of 1934 to make rigged game shows illegal. The Wild West was at an end. 18 game show contestants pleaded guilty to lying under oath to the grand jury, including Van Doren. They all received suspended sentences. The grand jury suspected that about 2/3 of the 150 witnesses had lied. The problem was only 18 of them admitted it, and it would be hard to prove each of them had knowledge of the fixing.
Yeah, you can't, that would be incredibly hard to prove, so just charge the 18 that admitted it.
Charles Van Doren was now seen by the public as a cheater and a liar. He resigned from his post at Columbia College and NBC dropped him. His reputation was tarnished and apparently even his own father was disappointed in him. That seems a bit harsh. I mean, he was kind of put in a tough situation. It's the game show producers who were really at fault. The scandal had a big impact on the public's perception of showbiz. For all its glitz and glamour, it was a dirty industry that had been exposed for what it was.
Of course it's a dirty industry. God, show business is the most dirty industry, I think.
Shallow, fake, and consumed by greed. 21, Da'o, and The Big Surprise were all cancelled in the wake of the quiz show scandal, as well as a whole host of other game shows. For a few years, there was no successful quiz show, a fact that TV host and producer Merv Griffin lamented with his wife in 1963. A game show is such a great concept, but since the scandal, everyone would think every show is giving the contestants the answers. His wife replied, well, why not give them the answers? Then they have to think of the question. Like if
Jeopardy!
You tell me the answer is 5,280, I have to tell you the question is how many feet in a mile. Good idea, but yeah, where's the tension? Well, they lose some of their winnings if they ask the wrong question.
That's a good...
put them in jeopardy. A year later, Jeopardy debuted to massive success. The game show was back in business.
And I loved watching Jeopardy when I was a kid with my mom and like my grandparents and my uncle. Like Jeopardy is fun. I really like Jeopardy is a very fun show.
And business was good. Jeopardy remains one of the longest running game shows of all time. Yep. Today, game shows are a far cry from their 1950s predecessors. They're fast, they're exciting, they encourage audience participation, and the sponsors are, well, they're still there, but it's not as bad as it used to be. 1950s game shows thought they had to rig the whole show to make it entertaining, when really, this is better achieved with smarter game design, which also comes with the benefit of not lying to your audience. It's kind of funny no one saw any value in that until it was literally made the law, but that's just how it goes, I suppose. Oh, wow, I'm a poet and I didn't know it.
Oh, God. But yeah, like, I had no idea about that in the 1950s, the way the game shows used to be. I had no idea. That's really interesting about that. I didn't know that game shows were that... Like, I knew they were rigged, but I didn't know that they were, like, that badly rigged to the point where Congress had to get involved and where Congress had to step in and be like, okay, that's enough. Ugh. Alright. Now we're gonna get into our final video before question period, because we still have question period to watch. So we're going to... There we go. This video is called She Faked Her Disorder and Now She's Been Exposed. And this guy, he covers he covers a lot of like the fun TikTok drama, like the dumbasses on TikTok who lie and shit. So I bet you this is another one of those people.
First of all, I was going to eat you. Whoa, hey, I'm flattered. You're just not like my type. Not your type? Not your type? First of all, I am god tier levels of attractive in my human form, so you would be so lucky.
You think you guys have seen it all? Well, this DID faker can quite literally summon Jesus.
Oh my. Oh god, another DID faker? Okay.
as one of her alters. That is certainly quite impressive. Honestly though, these days it's easy to spot the fakers on mental health disorders on TikTok because they all have the same starter pack. Funny hairstyles, unnatural hair colors, eyes brighter than anyone's future, crazy filters, and honestly just cringy skits.
Very cringy skits. Like the cringiest of cringe to ever have cringed.
Where they switch between different alters. It's like they all just copy each other's homework at this point. Also, I already know I'm going to get a few comments saying, but Ablaze, I have a different hair color and I don't act like this. Well, of course, not you. You're one of the cool ones. Not like those silly ones on TikTok that do these things. And honestly, it looks like the more you fake, the more fame you magically pull out of thin air. And this one right here, honestly, in my opinion, is generally one of the worst fakers on TikTok.
Oh god, how can you be the worst faker on TikTok? Like, there's a lot of bad fakers. How do you get to be the worst?
The pillow fort system. I should have probably added that they all have the word system as well in their starter pack. Or, as some of the others know her, Vermin and the Rats. Yeah, one absolutely ridiculous.
What's her name?
And the well in their starter pack. Or, because on TikTok, the pillow fort system.
The pillow fort system, okay.
I should have probably added that they all have the word system as well in their starter pack. Or, as some of the others know her, Vermin and the Rats.
Okay.
Yeah, one absolutely ridiculous name. So, you claim to have DID, and you name your system Vermin and Rats?
Valen and Rats, huh? That's the name for your system. Valen and Rats. Or the Pillow Fort. Okay.
Right. Who are the real rats here? Your alters typically refers to pesky creatures like rats, mice, or bugs that wreak havoc and spread disease. So, Vermin and the Rats basically translates to a bunch of unwanted guests crashing.
Pretty much, yeah. Is that what you're saying about your system? That's how you feel about it?
The party. Honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, it's a brilliant choice of words. No, honestly, really. With all the possibilities out there, she went with that. Kind of hits the nail on the head, actually. And while some are content with faking just one condition, Vermin is out here claiming the whole buffet. But what could she possibly be faking, Ablaze? Well, let's have a look, shall we?
Oh, do show us, please.
Tourette's, autism, ADHD, and let's just throw in some fake schizophrenia for good measure. All because she supposedly got kicked out of her house. Makes sense. Oh.
Okay. All of those things because you got kicked out of your house. Or, what?
Oh, and I already mentioned the cherry on top, right? DID, because why not, hey? Might as well add that in there.
Yeah, why not?
Her list of mental health disorders wouldn't be complete without that one, let's be honest. And she's not just faking these disorders for kicks, but she's also dishing out advice, like she's some sort of professional. We've talked about this in the past, and how that can be so dangerous. I know some people like to think that if you have a certain disorder, that gives you the right to talk about it and help other people.
Well, it gives you the right to talk about it, but you can't always, you cannot act like you are the spokesperson for whatever disorder you have. You can share how you deal with it, but you being, the end-all, be-all say-so of what this disorder looks like is not okay.
But I think, honestly, when you claim to have these disorders with no diagnosis, and you're trying to give advice and also diagnose other people on platforms like TikTok.
Oh god, she tries to diagnose people too? Oh, Jesus.
It's just insane. Some of the stories I've covered on my channel are incredibly serious, with certain people even facing legal consequences, like all the ones who fake cancer. But I do think that it should also carry over to not only just physical things on TikTok, but people that fake this type of thing should totally be under the same umbrella.
I agree, especially if they make money out of it. If people send them money and like they're milking, you know, oh, I'm so depressed. Oh, I've seen some people who are recovering drug addicts and they relapse and they're using their followers' money for drugs, and their followers have followed them because they're also recovering addicts. Like I've seen it. Like it's crazy
when it comes to dishing out consequences and legal action. Look, the point is, TikTok seems to bring out the worst in people. I'm kinda happy in some ways it's actually going to be banned in the US. Generally, I mean, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I know some of you don't even have TikTok in the first place. Lucky. But for the others that do, would you actually miss it at this point? Or do you think it would actually be a good thing? Because these fakers are everywhere. It seems like there's no shortage of them. Which, by the way...
No, we need to get rid of the fakers. The fakers, and you should be able to call them out for what they are.
Thank you for all the endless drama, because honestly, at this point, I'm just never going to be running out of content for my channel.
Nope.
I guess there are some positives. Now, before we dive in today's main topic, let's do the comment shout out. And today's comment shout out goes to Quiet Blake 6997 and Missy B 5255. Thank you guys so much for the comments in the last video. If you guys want a shout out, by the way, in the next video, make sure to leave a comment down below saying TikTok fakers are getting out of control. 2 things, very true. Second, it helps the algorithm, and I would appreciate it massively. And if you want to see if you're in the next shout out, make sure to turn on the notifications.
That's an interesting way of doing content, like, what's it called, interaction?
Hello, I'm Vermin. I'm a host of the Pull Report System.
I'm Vermin. You've actually called yourself Vermin in the Rat. Okay.
If you're wondering where we've been, having a crisis.
Oh yes, laugh. Laugh about having a crisis. That's a great idea.
So I don't know how much we'll actually end up using this page, but a couple of us wanted to make DID system stuff related videos, and we have another page, but we can't post on there because there's like family and people who follow us who are not ready to tell or talk to about this.
Oh, you're not ready to tell your family you have DID, but you're ready to tell strangers on the internet. Okay.
So I thought I would make us like a little second account that we can post on, and I don't know if we'll even post on here, but I wanted to make a video. I'm Jesse, I'm 18.
With that all being said, let's delve deeper.
I'm Jesse, I'm 18. Of course you are. Of course you are.
Rats, shall we? So, going back, it's almost comical to see how many among these fakers play the same game, putting on a show claiming to have many disorders, and then donning the hat of a advisor to their loyal followers. And this leads us to our main subject today, who has around 113,000 followers on TikTok.
That's pretty small for some of these people. Get up to like 500, 600,000 followers.
And as time goes on, her followers of course increase, but she's also doubling down on the fakery. But let's start from the beginning. In 2022, by then she had already claimed to have DID.
Okay.
I'm not sure about this, but is it really required to have lots of TikTok accounts if you want to make videos related to this disorder? And there you have it. Just 1 month after posting that video, she really started making cringy videos about her alters.
Okay.
4 months later, she posted another video, this time claiming to have autism.
Oh! Yes, autism, of course. Yes, you have DID and now you have autism. because you're not getting enough attention.
And based on what I've read in the subreddits, Vermin is supposedly in her 30s, though her real age isn't confirmed. It seems highly unlikely that a well-informed person would believe this claim. You might be asking, can adults develop autism? ASD can't develop later in life. As we've discussed, autism is caused by typical brain development that occurs at a young age. But yes, I still acknowledge that this condition may go undiagnosed or even misdiagnosed at childhood.
Yeah, you can you can absolutely get an autism diagnosis as an adult if you were misdiagnosed or undiagnosed. But you don't just like randomly develop autism as an adult.
Particularly in those with milder forms of the disorder, or those that have learnt to mask their symptoms.
Yeah.
This means some people might not get diagnosed until they're adults. So while it's possible for Vermin to receive a late diagnosis in her adulthood, it's just really unusual. Especially if she's previously been diagnosed with another condition by a certified professional. It's even more doubtful.
That is true, because if the certified professional diagnosed her with something else, then they would have spotted the signs of autism, and if they were not qualified to diagnose autism, they would have suggested that she go to a specialist who was.
Narrative is true, because if she truly had autism, wouldn't her previous therapist or psychologist, the same one who diagnosed her with DID, have also noticed her ASD signs? Honestly, it's just weird that she's suddenly claiming to have this condition now, especially given the established patterns of her behavior seen on her TikTok account. Unless, of course, she's self-diagnosed, which brings on its own set of issues.
Everybody that sits there and makes their, like, has to sit there and be, you know, oh, my system, all of these, they're all self-diagnosed. Somebody who actually suffers with split personality or DID, they don't think to make a TikTok about it. They don't, like, it's the same with any illness or mental health issue. Like, when I'm really struggling with my depression, like, I don't want to make a video and talk about how depressed I am, because I don't want anybody, like, because first of all, I feel like I shouldn't be depressed. I feel incredibly ungrateful when I'm having those days, because my life comparatively to other people's is pretty fucking good. So, like, I don't, like, that's not something you want to do. Like, it's the same thing with parents that film their child's meltdown. Like, why is that something you do? Like, that's not okay.
You. Yes, you. What the fuck was that? You think I didn't see that?
What? I just grunted to kill a fly.
You climbed up the wall and onto the ceiling like a fucking lizard.
I was getting away.
Oh, I've heard of this. I've heard this skit.
You killed it with fire.
Okay, yeah, a bit over the top, but, like, I didn't do any damage to the walls or anything.
You killed it with fire from your mind.
Right, yeah. So the host actually explained this to me. So different alters can have, like, different physical limits and abilities in the body. It's why Meg is allergic to honey, but the rest of us aren't.
What the fuck? No, what? What the fuck?
That is not how this works.
Look, I am an alter, just like you. It's taken me a little while to get my head around that, and I'm still adjusting, but...
No. You don't get to fucking gaslight me. You're a goddamn demon.
Yeah, but so is Greg, and I don't see you on his case.
What the I feel like maybe the schizophrenia might be a real thing.
Greg can't grow claws at will.
Okay, you know what? I don't need this right now. I promised the littles that I was going to teach them the language of the ancients, and I'm going to keep that appointment.
The littles? Oh my god. Oh my god, no. She even has little people in her system. And I mean little people as in children.
You deal with whatever's going on here. You can act all innocent, but I got your fucking number, Carthax. I'm gonna prove to everyone else that this is not normal. Whatever. Have fun with that. Can you believe that guy? Oh yeah, just ignore him. He's always like that.
Alright everyone, thank you for attending this Demon High Council meeting.
This Demon High... What the fuck does she think she has demons inside her? Okay, maybe she is... Maybe she is schizophrenic.
No one wants to be here, but this is very important. And we're all hell's shining examples of evil.
Now, before we get down to the numbers of it all, let's go ahead and do roll call.
Felgan, beast of the putrid flame. Zergal, the black mouth, swallower of children.
Here.
Elsie, the boss babe.
Elsie, the boss babe. What the fuck am I watching?
Kelsey.
Yes, here.
Uberius, the controlling vendor of mines. Obviously I'm here. Carthax, the destroyer, siege of the Seven Realms. Carthax?
He's not here.
Are you kidding me?
He's been completely AWOL for months.
Yeah, no, he's been completely gone. The human suffering department is kind of falling apart. Of course we can't just start a meeting off like normal. Okay.
So, after a while...
Thank you for stopping that. Thank you, Ablaze, for stopping that.
Vermin decides to spice things up by introducing more demonic altars into the mix. I know. In this video, we're going to be getting into the Halloween spirit a little bit earlier than usual, because these fakers always love to dress up in spooky costumes.
Yes, because when you switch from altar to altar, you plan it. Yes.
For the camera. I mean, she's got demonic altars, and for some reason, even a Jesus altar. Honestly, quite the diverse cast of characters covering all grounds, I guess, at this point. Well, honestly, I've never really messed with someone before who could summon Jesus instantly. I gotta admit, guys, I'm a little bit terrified. If you guys could please hit the like button so I may carry on. It will give me the strength.
Recently we posted a video where we mentioned, among some other silly altars that we have in our system, a fictive of Jesus Christ.
A fictive! Do you know what a fictive is? A fictive is what these fucking people make up in their head so they don't, like, they can't actually have, like, a split, like, an actual altar, like, who's an actual real person. No. These assholes will take a fictional character, like, you know, let's say Catherine Janeway, okay? And then they'll make up in their mind that they have a part of them that is Catherine Janeway. And they will, when they believe that they are Catherine Janeway, they will drink black coffee and they will speak in the way that she try to. And they may dress like her in a captain's uniform. Like, seriously. These fucking people. And the fact that she says I have a fictive of Jesus Christ, that's gonna piss off somebody who's a Christian that follows her. Because they're gonna be like, are you saying Jesus is fictional?
He pretty much just fronts, on a rare occasion when somebody will say, like, Jesus Christ, he'll just front and be like, hey, what's up?
Bullshit. That's bullshit. That is absolute bullshit.
And then before we can ask any questions or get any clarification, he just laughs and then pieces out.
Yeah, because it's not real. You're not... You don't... Oh my god, this is actually... Oh, holy shit.
You know what's, like, super countercultural, actually? Being Christian? I don't know, maybe think about it or whatever. Like,
I don't like to think about it because then that means that I have to, like, analyze the fact that I'm fucking lying.
no pressure. sure, do your own thing. I'm desperate. JK, LOL, unless you want me to be. Anyway, see you at Sunday, I hope. Yours truly, Jesus Christ.
No!
We have multiple warriors cats living in our brain forever.
We have multiple warriors cats living in our brain forever.
We have multiple warriors cats living in our brain forever. What do you mean? What do you mean? We have a fictive of Jesus Christ.
Why would you tell them that? Why do you think I'm hiding?
Alright, now, what's her new disorder? Well, now she's claiming to have ADHD.
Oh, of course. How do you claim to have ADHD? There's so many of you. Which one of you has ADHD? Do all of you have ADHD? Is that what, does only 2 of you have ADHD? What is this
The
go?
fakery
How does
just
this work?
never seems to end with this one, as she's proudly asserting to have this. Yet, she hasn't mentioned receiving a proper diagnosis from a real professional. For any of the conditions she claims to have, by the way, so far, making her credibility very questionable. It's pretty obvious at this point she's just simply adding more disorders to her collection.
Because she's not getting the attention she wants. She's not gaining the traction she wants to gain. Let's skip a little bit ahead and see.
Toys that she has for her kid.
Frankly, the whole vampire or werewolf thing doesn't bother me. She's just for any of the conditions she claims to have, by the way, so far, making her credibility very questionable. It's pretty obvious at this point she's just simply adding more disorders to her collection, and her demonic alters are only worsening over time.
Sometimes the DID and the ADHD are not a good combination.
Why are you whispering? Why are you whispering about the ADHD and the DID?
Roman just did a little ADHD brain chain. Here's kind of what happened. Oh, a cute video of a mom showing off the bath time toys that she has for her kid.
Frankly, the whole vampire or werewolf thing doesn't bother me that much. I mean, yeah, it's certainly weird, sure, but if that's what Vermin feels she needs to do to get through the day, then who am I to really judge? Maybe that's a job for the Jesus altar to do.
Yeah, maybe the Jesus fictive can judge her.
Oh yeah, becoming a vampire was easily the best thing that ever happened to me. My life is exactly the same every day. Yeah, honestly, it makes sense that so many vampires are autistic. Like, we all—
What? So, what? What the fuck?
Have sleep issues.
I just got here. We've been crying, apparently. Someone is actively making bacon. There's just a popsicle that is mostly thawed.
So last month, my transformation happened like a week before my period, so I had to deal with wolf form while dealing with PMDD.
Yeah, because wolf form, yeah, okay. My brain is just breaking right now. What the fuck am I watching? What the fuck? Why are all these people so fucked? Why are all these people, what the fuck? And here I thought I was messed up.
I wish I could just be covered in free.
Hi there! You wanna go for a ride? Sure can! Jump in!
Oh, I'm aware that I'm not the host. But I don't want to figure out who I am. It's a lot of work. I don't want to do that. I'm just a silly, goofy little guy. I'm just a little guy. What else do you need to know? That's all the information you need. Why did I split? What is my role? That's not important. What is my name? Pronouns? Do I have any of those? Not important. I'm just a little guy.
You can't even keep yourself in character. You're laughing. Oh my god, you're laughing while you're doing this.
Also, and I don't really believe in possession, but like, can you imagine how wild it would be if a system got possessed? they would never know. I feel like that would be a confusing situation for everyone. Like, imagine a demon-heavy system gets possessed by a demon, and they just accidentally gaslight the demon into thinking that they are just part of the system. That would be so fucking funny.
Yeah, except demons, like actual demons, would be way smarter than you. So, yeah, no.
There's so much creative and goofy shit you can do with, like, system representation. There needs to be more.
Also, have you noticed how each of her videos features increasingly wild haircuts? I'm honestly impressed at the lengths she will go to look ridiculous, just to convince people. And furthermore, maybe what she really needs is an exorcist.
Yeah, maybe she does. Maybe she does need an exorcist. I don't know.
Instead of a psychologist? Honestly, I feel like that is what she really does need, given the increasing number of demonic altars she's claiming at this point. It's starting to give me the chills.
She's like, what is she at, like 20?
Actually, now I think about it, her Jesus altar might come in handy for that one again.
Tourette's content on this page, and fair warning, talking about it's probably going to make us tick more than usual.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Now she's talking about Tourette's.
So I think it'll be a good idea to just cover some basic terminology around Tourette's. So if you have ever ticked, even once, you have a tic disorder.
That's
you have
not
Tourette's
true.
If you have had at least 2 physical tics and 1 verbal tic over the course of an entire year. Those are literally all of the qualifications to have Tourette's.
So, after circling through various disorders, Vermin's...
Those are the only 2 things to have Tourette's? Yeah, that's not true.
Now claiming to have Tourette syndrome. Nice. I guess at this point, she's just really trying out different things. If this doesn't work, honestly, it's back to square one. Not only is she making skits, but she's also giving out questionable mental health advice.
Oh,
like
good.
her recent claim that you have Tourette's if you experience at least 2 physical tics and 1 verbal tic over the course of an entire year.
Yeah, because that's totally the way you get diagnosed for Tourette's. It's not like they have to scan your brain or anything like that. No, it's just like a doctor asking you how many times you've ticked.
As someone that actually has a head tic, bullshit. Like, seriously, does she even have brain cells left at this point to make a claim like that? To diagnose Tourette syndrome? Specific criteria outlined in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Health Disorders, DSM-5, must be met, including the presence of both motor and vocal tics occurring many times a day.
And you need, like, I think you actually need like an EEG of your brain.
Nearly every day, or intermittently for more than 1 year, with symptom onset before the age of 18. And considering Vermin's age, again, which seems to exceed beyond the days of the monthly calendar, I honestly highly doubt she fits the bill for this diagnosis.
No.
But when she switches her altars, her tics mysteriously disappear.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing how, like, everything that she claims to have just goes away when she switches?
So, what's up with that? Hey, Vermin, aren't you supposed to have tics all the time? It seems like she needs to review her script more often, because people are starting to notice these inconsistencies. One moment she's twitching and the next she's perfectly fine, as a different alter. If she really had Tourette's, her tics wouldn't just vanish with a change in persona.
We talk a lot about how difficult it is for alters to not look like themselves in the body, but honestly,
what?
I feel like the ones who are really missing out is everyone else outside of our system. I get to look like me when I return to Headspace, and you never get to see just how stunning I am.
What the fuck? Hey, Fury Kitten, what's up? Ah!
Our inability to shapeshift is really just depriving the rest of humanity. It's sad, really. It's sad for you.
Like, this is what I look like. Suffer.
Have... God, fuck. Having Tourette's is this fucking nightmare.
This fucking night. Yeah, you are so not having Tourette's right now.
Where the more upset you get about your tics, the worse they get.
Why are you making me watch this horrible shit? 8 minutes to go.
Infuriates me. So, you probably do. DID affects an estimated 1 to 3% of the population.
That's a high number. That's a high fucking number.
That's an estimate based on diagnosis numbers, and DID is a covert disorder, so this is probably an underestimate, but we'll go with just the 1 to 3%.
Aside from giving out dubious advice on self-diagnosing Tourette's syndrome, she's also sharing tips on stimming and claiming that anyone could have DID, despite saying that only 3% of the world's population has it. This, by the way, includes undiagnosed cases, which is a very covert disorder. She's installing this belief in her followers, and
which I hate these TikTok people that say things like, because then they get the dumbass teenagers that watch them and they're like, I have this and I have that because this person on TikTok said so.
With her platform, it's easier for her, and no offense, but gullible audience to believe her. They might begin to believe that they have signs of this condition simply because Vermin made content about DID leading to self-diagnosis. And that's honestly where it becomes dangerous. At this point, it's just generally becoming less surprising as time goes on. And yes, DID is often covert, yet Vermin is making ridiculous skits on TikTok with bright green or other flashy hair colors.
Yeah, she's not being very covert, is she?
And honestly, that doesn't sound covert at all. And when she dishes out advice, she exudes this pure confidence. But let's pause and ask, is she even qualified to do so? Hell no. Surprisingly enough, a random TikToker on the internet cannot just start diagnosing people.
Oh, really? I'm shocked that can't be done.
While perhaps people with real DID can go onto TikTok and perhaps give advice, I don't see an issue with that. Nobody does. But someone who's clearly faking this, self-diagnosed, cannot go onto TikTok and then start diagnosing other people.
No.
That is ridiculous. And if she's going to fake having a disorder, she should at least make an effort at this point to try and be somewhat convincing.
Yeah, like none of what she's doing is even close to what DID looks like.
Perhaps she could start by familiarizing herself with the actual symptoms, because what she's portraying falls short. And if she were really licensed, she would not resort to making those stupid TikTok videos. So at this point, it's pretty clear that Vermin is not exactly a beacon of credibility when it comes to offering advice. I mean, guys, not trying to be rude, but I mean, just look at her. I mean, even with that appearance, are you really going to take her mental health advice tips seriously?
No.
While she's wearing horns and fangs?
No.
I wouldn't even trust my doctor if I had something as simple as a sprained ankle and my doctor walked in like this.
No shit. If the doctor showed up like that, I'd be like, nope, I'll just chop my own foot off, thank you.
I would be hopping right out the door. Also, take note, because she keeps adding new mental health disorders to her collection every few months, like they're Pokemon. Gotta catch them all. It's honestly just worrying that nowadays anyone who says that they've been through something can give medical advice on a platform and people will generally take it.
Yeah.
It's also incredibly sad as well that we live in a day and age where you would even have to question this thing. On where your first instinct, it seems like nowadays, when someone seems to say that they have DID, is to think that they're probably now just faking.
Yeah. That's the sad part, is that now people are, like, anytime you say that you have a mental illness, first of all, it's like, have you been diagnosed? And you're like, yes. And you're like, and then it's like, okay, well, that, like, it's so frustrating because all these fake people, all these fakers just want to pretend that they have something that they don't. I have known one person that had split personalities, and she was aware of it. Ah! Yes. Yes. But she probably didn't act like that, idiot. Alright, I'm gonna do a be right back screen, and then we're gonna do question period. So I shall return in a moment. Ooh. Alright. Here we go. Sorry about that. I did not mean to sneeze into the microphone. Okay. Pink Hollow says, I know someone who used to have medication contributed DAD. That's true. You did. Okay. Ugh. Now I'm just happy with psychotic. I am a undiagnosed. Oh, you're just. Ugh. I'm rapid cycling bipolar fury kitten. So I'm the fun one who's like not manic or depressed for long periods of time. I'm the one that goes boingy, boingy, boingy back and forth all over the place. It's a lot of fun for the people around me, I can tell you that for sure. It's just great fun for them. They love it, let me tell you. Can you tell the sarcasm? Okay, here we go.
Question period. Question orale.
Who the fuck are you? Where's the other idiot?
The official opposition.
Boo-hoo! Get over it. That was this
It
NDP.
isn't PC to call people schizo anymore. That's true.
The Honorable Whip for the official opposition.
Boo-hoo, get over it. That was this NDP Liberal government's response to serious questions about members of this House cooperating with hostile foreign powers. The Prime Minister was briefed on the threat of foreign interference for years, since at least 2020, and he did nothing. It's time for him to name names listed in the foreign interference report. Who are they? Will the Prime Minister do the right thing and reveal whether any of his cabinet ministers are on that list?
So for those of you who don't know what's going on, we were told that there was foreign interference with the last election for some MPs. And now it's come out that there are members that are serving in the House of Commons right now that are compromised. So they now they want to know, hey, are there any cabinet ministers on the list of compromised people? I need my sweater. I'm freezing.
The Honorable Parliamentary Secretary.
Mr. Speaker, Conservative members know what actually happened in committee that day, but when it comes to foreign interference, this is something we take incredibly seriously. It's something we have taken seriously since we formed government, something that unfortunately Mr. Harper's government did not do. We have put in place measures like the NSCOP committee. We are currently debating C-70 in committee, which will bring forward more provisions to help strengthen our democratic institutions. I hope Conservatives will stop playing political games and instead focus on resilience in our democratic institutions.
The Honourable Member for South Surrey White Rock.
Well, Mr. Speaker, the surest way to have resilience is to also have transparency. And that is not a credible answer.
Nope.
Our sovereignty is at stake. Our first duty is to Canada. There is only one acceptable answer, and it's not to tell Canadians, boo-hoo, get over it.
No.
It's unserious.
No, it's not. It absolutely is not. When there is actual information that there are members of parliament in your government that are compromised and people are asking questions, you do not go boo-hoo, get over it.
It's unhinged, in fact. It further proves that this corrupt government is unfit to lead this country.
Yep.
Can someone, anyone over there, stand up and tell Canadians today the names of the MPs working against Canada? We're waiting.
And this is from Friday, by the way.
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, that member knows full well that we do not share secret and highly confidential intelligence on the floor of the House of Commons. And
They're not asking for the source, they're asking for who's compromised. Fuck you.
I would simply point out the series of measures, beginning with the creation of NSI COP and the series of other measures that have been put in place by this government over the past years to combat foreign interference, a problem that countries around the world are dealing with. This is a problem that is being confronted extremely seriously by this government and not in a
extremely seriously. That's why you said boo-hoo, get over it.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians are sick of secret meetings and secret outcomes. This is foreign interference at an unprecedented level. Canadians deserve answers and clarity. This corrupt NDP Liberal government's lack of political courage in the face of hostile foreign actors is a disgrace. Yesterday, we honored our D-Day heroes, soldiers who stormed beaches under fire and died for our freedoms.
To fight against this exact bullshit.
The least we can do to honor them and their memories is to stand up for Canada. Come clean, release the names, at least tell us if they're sitting in your cabinet.
Yep. Your only
The
duty
Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to Minister of Public Safety and Democratic Institutions.
Mr. Speaker, we have always taken the issues of foreign interference seriously. This is precisely why we've implemented a number of measures in dealing with this. Mr. Speaker, what we've also done is ensured that leaders of the opposition, including the leader of the official official opposition is provided the clearance to review all of the documents,
the clearance, yes, the
unredacted,
clearance
so that he too
necessary
has
to view
clarity
the documents.
on the national security elements of this information. Mr. Speaker, we are not going to politicize this. We are going to ensure that information that is of national security.
Dude, this is inherently political. This is other countries are interfering in our country for political reasons so that you, as the government, will continue to do the things that they want. I don't know how much more political you want it to be, but it's pretty damn political.
Security importance that is dealt with in a secure manner.
L'honorable député de Louis.
The honorable member for Louis Saint-Laurent. Mr. Speaker, foreign interference is a very serious matter. The report from the committee is clear. Here in this House, we have elected officials who were elected with the support of a hostile foreign state.
Yep. That is fact. That is not a conspiracy. That is not conservative talking points. That is fact.
People need to learn who those MPs are. They need to be identified. Because otherwise, we know that the situation won't be fixed. The Prime Minister could do something about this. When will he? The Honourable Government House Leader.
Where's the parliamentary whip
Mr.
for that
Speaker,
question?
my colleague knows very well that this government has
She
to
looks like
respect
Lisa Kudrow.
our national secrets.
That's funny.
These are serious national secrets. We will continue to do so. The member has not treated the measures that this government has brought in seriously enough. For example...
Oh, please. The measures that we have brought in aren't being treated seriously enough. No, they're not, especially by your government. You are
the creation
correct.
of the National Security Committee of Parliamentarians, which has reported on the situation. Countries around the world are facing this type of interference. Canada is a leader in this matter. Are facing this
more
type
countries around the world. Which ones? Which ones?
Interference. Canada is a leader in this matter, and I think colleagues in the opposition should take the matter very seriously. The honourable member for Louis Saint-Laurent. Well, what would be properly serious would be if this government told us that which members were elected under foreign influence. Meanwhile, there's also the matter of crime. Over the last 9 years with this Liberal government, crime has gone up around the country, especially in urban centres. In Laval, crime has increased by 10%. In Montreal, 112,000 offences last year.
Jesus. And that's Montreal. Like, that's a lot.
We're battling with the problem of crime, and criminals are ending up on home arrest instead of behind bars because of C5. And the Bloc Québécois also voted for C5. When will the government do something to actually make sure that criminals end up in prison, not relaxing at home? The Honourable Government House Leader, Mr. Speaker.
Where is everybody? Where are all the front row of both sides of the House? Like, did they all take Friday off?
This member knows perfectly well that our government has faced crime throughout the country with substantial reforms on crime. We will support our police forces, provinces, and municipalities.
As long as they do what we say.
Who are doing a great deal to fight crimes like auto theft.
Translator lady.
We will not take lessons from the Conservative Party on this.
Of course you won't take lessons from the Conservative Party on this. Will you take lessons from anybody on anything, though? That's the question.
They have no crime policy. We do.
They have...
The Honourable Member for Salaberry-sur-Roi. Mr. Speaker, we've been told that members in this House are working for foreign powers, but
yes,
yesterday
we do
at committee,
use the
a
whip
Liberal
system,
member
Fury.
told parliamentarians, boo-hoo, get over it.
There are whips, yeah. I'm just trying to figure out where the bigwigs are, like the ministers and the official shadow cabinet. There's like nobody there that's the front benchers.
And then the Deputy Prime Minister
all
on Wednesday
like
refused to answer
people.
questions on this topic because she preferred to talk about the interest rates. Our democracy is under attack, but the Liberals are not acting like the adults in the room. We're all responsible at ensuring that members who are not working for their fellow citizens are shown the door. Will the Liberals finally take foreign interference seriously?
No.
The Honorable Government House Leader.
Yeah, see, there's nobody here. It looks like around 10% occupancy at most. Yeah, like, there's like nobody there. And I'm being generous at 10%. Yeah, there's like literally nobody there.
Number of measures and have criminal offense. Case members within their
on foreign interference
and kick out any two-faced members within their ranks.
I appreciate the block members on the committee who have been working hard and diligently with us in good faith on foreign interference. It's disappointing when, conservative mischaracterization of meetings takes place. But, Mr. Speaker,
conservative mischaracterization of meetings. What the fuck are you talking about?
Is that we are working hard to ensure our democratic institutions are resilient.
Have you even graduated university yet? Like, listen to how young she sounds.
We are combating foreign interference. This is not a partisan issue, Mr. Speaker, and it's why we've introduced a number of measures.
No, because it was the D-Day ceremony in Normandy. Oh.
Including C-70, which we're working on committee, to strengthen our democratic...
The
Honourable Member for Rosemont-la-Patrie. Mr. Speaker, in May, the average monthly rent in Canada reached a record $2,200.
Ouch. That's insane. That's the average rent, $2,200.
It's a record in Montreal, $2,300 for a two-bedroom. For decades, the Liberal and Conservative governments...
God, is she gonna say the same thing about capital gains being a threat to democracy? I don't know, maybe.
...allowed rich developers speculate with the housing market.
I don't know if Justin dressed up. He probably did, though.
People are drowning. What will it take for this government to finally prioritize social and affordable housing, not the profits of rich developers?
And according to some dumbasses on TikTok who are in support of Trudeau, the provinces are wrong for using the... First of all, they're saying that the provinces are using the transfer payments for healthcare for affordable housing. And I'm like, okay, well, first of all, where's the proof of that? Second of all, if that's true... Well, of course they have to, because they have to meet affordable housing targets. Otherwise, the government isn't going to help them with more affordable housing, and we need affordable housing right now. We have to pick and choose at the moment. Do we want housing, or do we want healthcare? That's just ridiculous. Nobody wore what looked like a $10,000 fucking suit. Yeah. Like the Porsche dealership I go to seems to give him his suit buying tips.
The Honourable Minister. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to thank my colleague for the question. As he knows very well, in the federal government, in the federal budget rather, we have made historic investments, and we have announced a new co-op program with the highest level of funding in 30 years for co-ops.
Yes, because everybody wants to live in co-op housing.
In order to create off-market housing, non-market housing, and we will work with all of our partners to create more housing, for example, in Montreal.
Or Vancouver Kingsway.
Mr. Speaker, people in Vancouver Kingsway are really struggling to find a home they can afford. A two-bedroom apartment costs over $3,600 a month.
Jesus Christ! Fucking Vancouver is insane!
The highest in the country. The average renter is now spending 60% of their income on rent, double the recommended amount.
60%? Yeah, because you're supposed to spend like 30 to 35% of your income on housing. Which is why disabled people get so pissed off with their amount of benefits, because their rent is more than their entire benefit.
This is the result of decades of underfunding by Liberal and Conservative governments. The Liberals are failing to meet this moment, and the Conservatives offer slogans instead of solutions. When will the Liberals start building the affordable, non-market homes people need and deserve.
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
We are doing exactly that, Mr. Speaker. We share an interest with that party in building more non-market homes. That has to happen, and that's why the budget of 2024 supplemented existing programs that will make that happen. On the issue of rent, he raises this, and he should. We do have an expensive situation when it comes to rent in Canada.
An expensive situation? Really? That's the only way you're going to characterize it.
And that's why this government is responding by putting in place innovative measures that will lead to more building, lifting GST on the construction of purpose-built rentals, putting in place measures to allow for low-interest loans by the private sector, measures that each of the Conservatives do not support, Mr. Speaker.
No, because they won't work. They won't work. That's why they don't support them.
Not serious.
You specifically just don't support anything the Conservatives have to say because they're Conservatives.
Honourable Member for Carlton Trail, Eagle Creek.
After 9 years, this Prime Minister is not worth the cost or corruption. Liberals don't want Canadians to know what they already know. Canadians are worse off with the carbon tax. A secret government report proves the carbon tax costs Canadians more than they get back. But the government has forced their budget watchdog to sign a gag order so that he can't share that information with Canadians.
But it's not a gag order. Trust us. It's not a gag order. That's a true statement. Both governments are responsible for this shit.
When will this Prime Minister quit using unbelievable talking points and release the secret report that proves Canadians are right?
Yeah.
Government
House Leader.
That member of Parliament, Mr. Speaker, knows full well that many years ago the Parliamentary Budget Officer said that 8 out of 10 Canadians were better off.
Really?
Parliamentary Budget Officer said that 8 out of
Government House Leader.
That member of Parliament, Mr. Speaker, knows full well that many years ago the
Parliamentary Budget Officer said this. Wasn't that like only 2 years ago before you raised the tax again? And then the Parliamentary Budget Officer like put out a new report that you guys refused to let anybody see?
Parliamentary Budget Officer said that 8 out of 10
Canadians
were better off under the carbon pricing policies of the government. Today,
that's true.
The Parliamentary Budget Officer says 8 out of 10 Canadians are better off under the carbon pricing policy of the government. That member, however, ran in the last election, walking around Carlton Trail, Eagle Creek, promising to put a price on pollution. She sure did, and now she opposes the doubling of the growth in the rural rebate.
And they cut him off.
Trail, Eagle Creek.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and I absolutely did not do that, and you can talk to my constituents.
I love how she's like, he just straight up lied about her. And she's like, nope, that's not true. That's not true.
The Parliamentary Budget Officer has already proven that the Liberal carbon tax, just like this Prime Minister, is not worth the cost. The PBO has been clear. The vast majority of Canadians are worse off under a carbon tax than without it. And the Liberal secret government report proves it. The analysis has been done, but the government is blocking its release with a gag order. When will this Prime Minister come clean with Canadians, stop hiding the real cost of the carbon tax, and release his secret report?
I love how they're attacking every Conservative member that asks a question. Many moons have passed.
The Honourable Government House Leader. Mr. Speaker, we've learned something rather astounding this morning. This member just denied that she ran under the Conservative Party of Canada's platform in the last election. Yeah. However, there she sits as a member of the Conservative caucus. I think Canadians can now ask any member over here what parts of the Conservative platform in the upcoming election will they be subtracting themselves from? Will they be disassociating themselves from? The Conservative platform applies to all the members. Bulletin, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Oshawa.
Does anybody know what he just said? Anybody? Anyone have any clue to what he just said?
Mr. Speaker, after 9 years, this NDP Liberal Prime Minister is simply not worth the cost. When asked about reaching their climate goals, the Liberal member from Whitby admitted that their policies knowingly would be difficult and painful for Canadians. Now we know that their carbon tax climate policy confirms this, as documented in a secret report which is covered up by putting a gag order on their budget watchdog. When will this government quit using their unbelievable talking points and release the secret report that proves Canadians are right?
Okay, let's skip forward a little bit.
Canadians were better off.
Mr. Speaker, now they are silencing the parliamentary budget.
Holy crap. Are we going to still be doing this for the whole thing?
Canadians to make a fair assessment and release that secret report on the true costs of the carbon tax.
Wow. Okay. I just skipped fucking 5 minutes and we're still on this. Okay.
That there be transparency, accountability, and integrity in all the work that we do. And there have been recommendations made by the Auditor General and the Ombudsman and a number of others that reinforce the concerns that the government shares. And that is why some of this stuff was initiated. So we're taking every step necessary to provide proper training to ensure that we have taken the steps necessary to provide integrity in the sense that as we go forward.
I don't know what I'm saying. This is why backbenchers need to shut the fuck up. Yeah. This is pathetic. We're just gonna...
Thank you.
The honourable member. Well, Mr. Speaker, whistleblowers, repeated warnings, criticism from a high-placed official. There were red blinking lights about SDTC, and that's been the case for a long time. Conflicts of interest, non-eligible projects being approved. Once again, taxpayer money being squandered. The department knew, the minister must have known, they had received documents with the conflicts of interest, but nothing was done.
More conflict of it. Holy shit.
The honourable member for St. Albert, Edmonton.
Mr. Speaker, yesterday the minister claimed he isn't that Randy on the basis that he turned over his phone records. The minister did no such thing. Rather, he very conveniently turned over the records of a single device. So, can the minister confirm that the device he turned over, the records of a device that he turned
Looks like I will be stopping in Mitchell on my way home. Okay.
over are from the minister's business...
Backbenchers are for asking awkward questions, but the cabinet dodger used to push political speeches. Yeah.
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we were all here yesterday when the minister gave a comprehensive response to the very thing the member raises. So I can
skipping
the Minister of the Employment had the audacity to say other Randy. So if there question over and over again, if what? The government answered the question. Wouldn't that be nice? He's so
underfunding Edmonton's art scene for years, and local artists and our community is struggling.
Wow. Okay. This is literally a nothing burger question period. Because all of the ministers are celebrating or not celebrating, but commemorating D-Day. This is really, really bad. Do we have anything else to watch? No, I watched everything. I've gone everything. Everything's covered. Everything's covered, and I don't know what else. I need to not be sitting in my chair for right now. Let me stand up for a minute. Ow! Fuck. Yeah, walking 5 kilometers this morning, it was good for me, but it hurt. Let me tell you that. Holy shit. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to end here. I'm going to go and do some stretching. I think I've got do some... Oh, I still have to clean up my bedroom. God damn it. Okay, I've got shit to do, so I'm going to end here. I will be back tonight for the combat hour, so please come by and hang out with me. Thank you for watching. We will have more fun videos to watch tomorrow, and I hope you guys had fun. I'll see you tonight. Bye, everybody.